Let's get back to the Steve Jobs story this morning. Steve Wozniak co-founded Apple with Mr. Jobs, and we're glad to have him with us live. Mr. Wozniak, first, our condolences to you. You've lost a very good friend, and I know you feel that loss very deeply today.
Yeah, it's very sad, and I try to be alone when I think about the things that make me that way.
Let me ask you a question about your relationship with him. He once described you as the only person he'd ever met who was smarter than he was when it came to technology. What did you have that he didn't have, and what did he have that you didn't have that created this magical partnership between the two of you?
We were very young, and I had just an incredible background that wasn't deliberately planned. And I could just sit down and design almost any computer in the world in a couple days. Project after project after project, I would design, and Steve would turn them into sales and money and stuff.
Steve,
but we both understood. It's important that he understood the technology. He had the drive to turn it into, companies and products that would change the world. So he understood it, and that's very important, because very often you find CEO that doesn't understand the technology and just listens to the technologist is not enough.
Steve, I read a recent quote from you where you said that at the time that he left Apple in 1985, he told you that he had this feeling that he might die by the age of 40, and as a result, it sort of informed everything he did and made him feel like he needed to hurry and get things done quickly. How did that conversation go, and did you ask him why he thought he was going to die young?
The conversation was simple. I don't pry into people's personal lives. He chose to tell me. He said that he had felt it his whole life. He'd had the premonition his whole life. And so obviously he exceeded it.
How do you think it made him behave differently than he otherwise would have? I mean, did you witness that he felt like he was in a hurry with his life?
No, I felt that he was in a deliberate internal discussion as to what was his purpose in the world, what was he meant to do, and was it a reason that he needed to do it outside of Apple to get it done.
How close were you with Mr. Jobs in the last few years, and did he ever share with you his ambitions for what he might do next, what he might have done had he been given more time? And that must be one of the losses that you feel today, as I think so many people do, that we've lost the opportunity to see what he and his team at Apple might have come up with next.
Well, in recent times, he and I haven't been, close best friends like we were at the start of Apple. So I wouldn't know a lot of ambitions, what he might do, if they're probably already being done. I would say that there's a pipeline in Apple. Maybe it's a couple of years long, and it's got Steve's thumbprint on every single piece of it. But he can't talk about that necessarily.
Talk to me a little bit about the idea that the story of Apple Computer and the story of Steve Jobs is one of those things that is an only in America kind of thing. He didn't finish college. He did not grow up in a pampered or particularly affluent home. He didn't go to the right schools. In most other countries, there's a track, and if you're not on that track, you can't do what you did.
Education comes in a lot of ways, and those who think outside the system, outside the box, could be very much floating around on their own, getting educated. Self-education's the best there is. Almost everything I did for Apple came from, basically teaching myself how to design computers and all that. Didn't come from books or classes. Those are, I think, just sidelines that help you get through and converse with people. Steve went to a fine college, Reed College, and what he did was he looked at the list. I was with him because I drove him up there. He looked at his list of assigned classes, and he said, I have to take these? Look at what they're telling me I have to take, Steve. And he didn't want to take their classes. He wanted to go to any exotic classes he felt like, Shakespeare classes or quantum physics or the like. And that's how an independent thinker thinks, and that's more an exercise of using your own brain rather than just, memorizing the same thing as everyone else and learning answers that aren't yours.
I think a lot of us have tried to put our
So I consider
Go ahead.
a type of brilliance. It's really a type of brilliance. And I admired it. I just admired people who wanted to not have to be the normal system, wanted to be different.
I think a lot of us have tried to put our finger on why this has touched us so much. I mean, given that many of us didn't know him, but he represented this kind of hope and optimism and something positive at a time when the economy is struggling, when so many people are struggling. Do you think that's why it's had such a big impact on people, or why do you think so many people are touched by this today?
Yes. Well, you say he represented hope. Like, I think if he had been the head of Solyndra, they would be one of the biggest companies in the world now. But it's like he gave us hope. We'd look at him and think, there is hope. He can give us guidance to even to our own despair and how to get out of it. I think he represented that a lot to a lot of people. But basically, you know what he was about? It was really just making good products. Technology can help people in their lives for work, for pleasure, for entertainment. And he really just didn't want to make any standard products that were good. He didn't want to make them as good as the best in the world. He wanted to make them better than that.
And insanely great in the phrase that he used so often. Mr. Wozniak, thank you very much.
And that's why people love him.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us and sharing your recollections and thoughts. And again, our condolences to you, because you lost a good friend. We're going to take a quick break.